What's up guys, James here, the world's worst web developer, and we are back with another Etch video today. I'm going to be integrating a JavaScript library called GSAP. GSAP is a tool that you can use to add some simple animations to your website. It's pretty cool, it's very popular. A lot of people use it to do things like fading in and sliding in from the left and stuff like that. So I'm going to show you how to integrate that with an Etch website. This is not a full-blown GSAP tutorial. The point of this video is not to make you a GSAP expert. It's just to show you how you can integrate things like GSAP into a WordPress website using Etch. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I've done a couple things already just to kind of get us set up. I did create a child theme. You're going to want to do that unless you're using a plugin for your PHP snippets and whatnot. I just went ahead and created a child theme so that I could put this function that I'm about to show you in my functions.php file. But like I said, you very well could have just used a plugin like the code snippets plugin or something. But what I did is I went to GSAP's website and I downloaded the files, and it gives you kind of a lot, and you don't really need most of it. So this is what's inside the zip file. You just need to go inside the minified, and for basic GSAP you just need this. And then a lot of these other files are various, I think they call them plugins. So similar to WordPress where you add a plugin to add different functionality, GSAP is the same way. They have all these different things you can use to add different animations. I mean, the things you can do with GSAP are almost limitless. But for basic GSAP, you just need this. For what I'm doing, I also needed this one right here, scroll trigger. And so you need to include these in your WordPress website. If you're not sure how to do that, you can actually just tell ChatGPT or whatever your favorite AI tool is to do it for you, which is exactly what I did. I went to an AI bot and I said, hey, I created a folder in my child theme called assets. I put a folder in there called plugins. I put a folder in there called GSAP, just in case I end up adding other JavaScript plugins. You know, I can have this structure already in place. And I said inside the GSAP folder, I put gsap.min.js and scrolltrigger.min.js. And I said, I need a simple WordPress function to enqueue these two files. And I said, make sure that gsap.min.js is a dependency of scrolltrigger. So scrolltrigger depends on GSAP. And it gave me this right here. Very simple. You can see here's the scroll trigger. This right here says that this JavaScript file is dependent upon this JavaScript file. So this one's not going to work unless this one is here. So make sure to load things in the right order and whatnot. So that's all you have to do. Throw this in your functions.php file or your snippet plugin. And then you'll notice if you visit the front end of your website, you go to sources, WP content, themes, go into your child theme, whatever you named it. There should be the assets, plugins, GSAP, and you should see both the files in there. So this is how you know that you successfully enqueued or integrated GSAP into your project. Now all you need to do is create a layout and start messing with it. So that's exactly what we're going to do, and it's going to take me like 10 seconds to do it, okay? Because I'm cheating. I always cheat. Why wouldn't you cheat? So I used VO. In fact, I'll just go ahead and even show you what it looks like here. I used VO, and I literally just said, make me a random landing page. I said, you can pick the industry and the content. I said, I just wanted to include some simple GSAP animations. And this is what it came up with. If you refresh this, you'll see some stuff happens. This stuff kind of faded up, you saw that, and then this image faded in, and then it decided to make the image just sort of bob up and down. I don't know if I would ever do that on a website, but for the purposes of this demo, I appreciate it. We got stuff to do here. So it did that, and then what I did is I grabbed the code, inspect, I copied the whole section here, took it to another AI robot. I said, convert this from Tailwind to regular CSS, and it did it for me. So now all I have to do, this is one reason why I love Etch so much, okay? I'm going to copy the code that the AI robot gave me. I'm going to add a section. I'm just going to delete what's in here and paste in the code from the robot. It looks like crap, of course. So then I got to go back to the robot and get the CSS that it gave me. It does a really nice job of converting Tailwind into regular CSS for you. And I'll put that in there, and boom, we have a layout. I'll go ahead and throw our placeholder image in there. Done. Now, nothing's being animated yet, of course, so if we save this and we go take a look at the front end, it looks good, but it's not animating quite yet. So that's what we're going to do now. And just to double check, we check out the sources, make sure that our files are there, so we're ready, we're good to go. And I'm using the AI bot again. I actually used VO. I said, hey, thanks for creating this layout. Go ahead and give me the JavaScript that I need to make these animations actually work. And it did it for me. So I'm going to paste it in, and then we're going to kind of talk about it a little bit. So this is what I like about Etch and JavaScript. The JavaScript I'm about to put in here, I don't need it loading like all the time on every single page. I really only want this particular JavaScript to load if this section exists. So what I can do is I can click on this section, and I'm going to come over here to the JavaScript, and I'm going to paste in my JavaScript that the AI robot gave me. I'm just going to save it. Now let's go refresh and see what happens. Look at that. We have all the same animations that we had in that VO demo, even the weird little bobbing up and down thing we got going on. And that JavaScript that we added is only going to show up if this particular section exists. Okay. If we open up a whole new page, the JavaScript would not load. The two main files would, because the way we enqueued them, they are just enqueued on the entire website. So these two main files that we have to have, those will be loaded on every page. But the JavaScript you just watched me paste in, all this stuff, this is only going to be loaded when this section is loaded. So that's pretty neat. And if we look at this, you can see it's basically just animating everything individually. So we have Fitness Hero badge and Fitness Hero title. So you can do one animation to multiple elements at once, and that's what it's doing. Fitness Hero badge, I'm not even sure what that is. Let's see, it's probably this thing right here. So what this is saying is it's a from to, so it takes two values. The from value is 0, and the to value is 1 for opacity. So it's going to start at opacity 0, and it's going to end up at opacity 1. It's also going to start at 50, I don't even know, pixels? I'm not exactly sure. Like I said, this is not a full-blown GSAP demo, but it's starting at 50 something, and then it's going to end up at 0. So that's what causes it to, you can see it starts kind of down, and then it fades up. And I mean, you can just look at each one of these, you know, a lot of it's very similar. It's kind of doing opacity 0 to 1 on pretty much all of them. It's doing a little bit of this y-axis kind of coming up, 50 to 0, 30 to 0. The duration, so this says it's going to take 1 second to go from opacity 0 to 1. Yeah, and then you can see scroll trigger. So scroll trigger, I believe, says don't do this animation until the element is scrolled into view, or maybe if you scroll at all. And that is what we needed the extra plugin for. You remember we enqueued 2 different files. So all this other stuff, we didn't need that scroll trigger plugin to do all this stuff. This is just basic GSAP stuff. This is basic GSAP stuff. This, whatever this is doing, feature card. What is the feature card? Is that probably... Cool thing about the inspect is you can just search feature card. Oh, it's only in the GSAP, but it's not showing up. That might be for another section that we didn't actually build out yet. So, which makes sense because all this stuff is already above the fold. So why would you add a scroll trigger to stuff that's already above the fold, right? It's probably stuff below that when you scroll to it, then it does an animation. This stuff all animates as soon as the page loads. So yeah, that's really it. Just kind of a overview of what we did. Most of it wasn't even really Etch related. Most of it was just WordPress stuff, right? We created a custom theme, or we created a child theme, so we could dump this enqueue script in there to enqueue our GSAP file, our main GSAP file, and then any plugins that we also want to use. And then all we had to do is create ourselves a layout. And you can use the documentation to find these JavaScript bits here, or AI is pretty good. Honestly, you could probably just go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I included GSAP into my project. Say, I have a heading. The class of that heading is whatever your class is, and say, I want you to give me the JavaScript so that it will animate in, 0 to 100% opacity in 1 second. I want it to kind of come up a little bit from the bottom, whatever you want to do. You want it to come in from left to right or from top to bottom, whatever you want it to do. And I'm 99% sure it will just give you this code exactly for you. So you probably don't even have to look at GSAP documentation thanks to AI. But of course, the documentation is there, and you can find all the different options for animating with regular GSAP and all the different plugins that are available. And you just have to make sure to put that JavaScript in your project. I recommend, doing it section by section. So all the animations that are going to happen in this section, I would add it to the JavaScript box for that section. I mean, you really could create a template and put it all like on the header if you want it to load on every single page. If you really want to, you could do that. But I think it makes more sense to kind of put the JavaScript exactly where it's needed. Yeah, I think that's it for this video, guys. Pretty simple. I made a video just like this for integrating fullpage.js, another library, and it was basically the same. I mean, I really only created this video because people keep asking about GSAP, and so people are probably going to search for how to integrate GSAP into Etch. So I wanted to make sure there's something for people to find. But if you watch this video, you pretty much now know how to integrate any JavaScript library with Etch. I mean, like I said, fullpage.js was exactly the same. I downloaded some JavaScript files from Fullpage, put them in my child theme, created an enqueue script to enqueue the files, and then I just had to add the JavaScript to the element, and that was it. I mean, it's basically going to be the same no matter what you're doing. So that's it. I hope you liked it. Hope you learned something, and we'll catch you in the next one.